Hi, my name's David Bennett and I make videos on YouTube about music theory, and one of my favorite topics to make videos on is time signatures. A lot of the music you listen to is probably actually only in one time signature. So we're going to work our way through, starting with the most common and well-known time signatures and move on into the dizzying worlds of odd time signatures. So I mentioned just then that most songs that you listen to, most songs you play, will probably be in one particular time signature, and that is 4/4. Music that has 4 beats in the bar. Time signatures are always displayed as 2 numbers stacked on top of each other. So in this case, it's 4/4. For now, just think about the top number. The top number is the important one. The top number tells you how many beats are in each bar of the music. We'll talk a bit later about what the bottom number means, but we're focusing on the top number, which here is 4. And all that literally means is that each bar is going to have 4 beats, and then there'll be a sense of beginning and end after 4 beats. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It just feels very natural that the music falls like this. So after 4 beats have passed, it feels like we need to then go somewhere, or at least move on. And that first beat of the bar, the one that I'm counting as 1, is what we call a downbeat, and that has all of this sort of pressure to it, emphasis to it. That's kind of what marks where one bar ends and the next one begins. So that's 4/4. And genuinely, if you listen to the radio, if you listen to any classic song really, it will almost definitely be in 4/4. So let's look beyond 4/4 now. What else could we do with the time signature, with what we can call the meter? Well, one of the most common time signatures beyond 4/4 is 3/4. So once again, we have this 3 on top and then we have the 4 on the bottom. It's just like before, but instead of counting to 4, we're counting to 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can feel how instantly it has a different character to it, different sort of feel to it. 3/4 is most commonly associated with a waltz, which is a particular style of classical music, but it extends beyond classical music, and it's generally characterized by this sense of pa, pa, a strong beat followed by 2 weaker beats. And there are 3 beats in the bar, right? 1, 2, 3, pa, 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 pa. And you can see on the piano here, I'm taking a chord and I'm playing the root note on number 1, and on the 2 and 3, I'm playing the rest of the chord. That's a very common waltz pattern to play. There are some popular songs that are in 3/4 and maybe have a bit of a waltz feel to them. For example, the Mall Kintyre by Paul McCartney and Wings is in 3/4 time. All of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the sea. But as I said, the most common time you'll see 3/4 is in this waltz setting. And one of the most famous waltzes is the Blue Danube by Johann Strauss. So the next time signature that we're going to take a look at is what we call an odd time signature. Whether you're thinking odd in the sense of unusual or odd number, will both sort of apply here. It's 5/4. Just like before, where we had 4/4 and there was 4 beats in the bar, and then we had 3/4, 3 beats in the bar. Same logic applies. 5/4, 5 beats in the bar. 5/4 is a lot less common, it's like significantly less common, which means when it is used, it has a really curious sound to it, a really sort of ear-catching rhythm that sounds unusual, odd, because it's an odd meter, but not necessarily wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's lots of different ways to sort of group it. For example, Take 5 by Dave Brubeck, it sort of groups like 3 and then 2. So we still have the 5 beats in the bar, but it's almost counted like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And as you'll find when we go into some of these bigger time signatures that have a bigger number on the top, it becomes useful to subdivide it into smaller groups to make it easier to understand, make it easier to play. Dave Brubeck's Take 5. Can I have this initial 3? 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, Another really noteworthy example of 5/4 time is the Mission Impossible theme by Lalo Schifrin. And here it's kind of grouped a little bit differently. Before we had that 3 and then 2. Here it's almost like long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short. Long, long, short, short, long, short, short. So it's a really interesting rhythm where we've kind of got 4 beats, but they're irregular lengths. They're long and short, and it actually works out that there's actually 5 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far we've had 4/4, we've had 3/4, 5/4. Theoretically, we can keep raising that top number. So another common, well, relatively common odd meter that we can go to next is 7/4. I say relatively common because generally speaking, it's actually very rare. But in the world of odd meters, after 5/4, 7/4 is probably your next most commonly used one. And the same logic once again applies. We have 7 beats in the bar before we get a sense of resetting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A bit like I was saying with 5/4, where we could divide it into 3 and 2, it can be really advantageous with 7 to break it into 4 and 3. So we kind of get this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Just makes it a bit easier to keep track of and to count it out loud as well, because especially when you introduce the word 7 with its 2 syllables, it can just confuse things a little bit. So a really famous example of 7/4 time, at least in the bulk of the song, is Money by Pink Floyd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now we're going to talk about time signatures that don't have a 4 on the bottom. So you would have noticed that with 4/4, 3/4, 5/4, 7/4, we've always got that consistent 4 on the bottom. Now I told you at the beginning to only really focus on the top number, and that is true. That is our most important number when considering a time signature. But of course the bottom number is there for a reason. So the bottom number is telling you what type of beat we're going to be counting. If the top number is how many, the bottom is which type of beat, what beat. And the 4 has been referring to quarter notes. If you think a quarter has a 4, it's 1/4. That's what that 4 is, it's a quarter. So 4/4, for example, means 4 quarter notes in each bar of the music. But we can change the bottom number. And what you can change it to, for example, is 8 for 8th notes. You could have 6/8 time, which is 6/8 notes. So in 6/8, of course, we have 6 beats in the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The bit that's different here, though, when we have this 8th at the bottom, is that although we have 6 beats in the bar, we don't necessarily feel 6 strong beats in the bar. All you have to remember is 6/8 is 6/8 notes, but actually only 2 accented beats. So if we listen again to what I just did, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you focus on the left hand, I'm just doing 2 beats in the bar. There are 2 strong beats. So when you have a time signature that has an 8 on the bottom, without going into too much depth, you get this situation where you've almost got 2 layers of meter. You've got the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. You've got the 8th note rhythm, and then you've got this other meter above it. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then 6/8, that results in a rhythm that kind of feels like a pendulum's swinging from side to side. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you might think, well, how from just 6/8 am I meant to know all that? This is where it comes into the realm of sort of convention and tradition. This is the way that 6/8 has just traditionally been used. So when someone says a song's in 6/8 or it's been written in 6/8, they're kind of suggesting they want this pendulum two in a bar feel to the music. A great example of 6/8 time is Falling by Alicia Keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. The next time signature we're going to look at is 9/8. Sometimes you can think of it as an odd meter, and sometimes you can think of it as a sort of regular meter. And the definition of an odd meter versus a sort of regular meter is a little ambiguous. Some people peg it to whether the number at the top is an odd number, but then that would make 3/4 an odd meter, and a lot of people would disagree with that. And others say, well, the odd is more referring to the unusual feel of the meter. An odd meter has an uneven grouping. So in 5/4, we had a 3 and a 2, so two groups that weren't even to each other, and that gives it a sort of off-kilter sound. Same in 7/4, we had 4 and 3, so once again, unbalanced. The thing is with 9/8, we could group it in a, for example, 5 and then 4 grouping, and that would kind of be an odd feel, or we could group it in 3, 3 and 3, and now it's not odd anymore. So if we wanted to see an odd meter example of 9/8, we could look at the song I Hung My Head by Sting, which groups it in a group of 5 and a group of 4. But in fact, the most common way you'll see 9/8 is in this non-odd formation of it, where we have 3, then 3, then 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you just focused on my left hand, you'd be seeing 3 beats in the bar. But if you look at my right hand, I'm adding in that subdivision as well, so we get all 9. And this is the thing, much like 6/8, when you have the 8 at the bottom, it means you kind of now get these 2 tiers of meter. You get the 8th note tier, and you get the more prevailing beat over the top. So we can have a song that's in 9/8, but actually feels like there's 3 in the bar. So like I said at the beginning, with odd time signatures, they're already very unusual, very uncommon. You'll take a sample of 100 songs, maybe one will be in an odd meter. But even within the world of odd time signatures, odd meters, there are even odder meters. And generally how that works is the bigger the number gets at the top, the rarer it's going to be. One example I really like is of 15/8. And a great example of 15/8 time is Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield. That's the group of 7. That's the group of 8. So you saw we added a tiny bit more to the end. Time signatures are also something that doesn't have to stay consistent throughout the whole piece of music. Once again, generally speaking, a song will stay in just one time signature, but there is always exceptions to that rule, and many songs switch between various different time signatures throughout the song. A great example is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles, which begins in 3/4, so we have that sort of waltz feeling we were talking about. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But by the time we get to the chorus, we've actually switched to 4/4 time. And then the song manages to pivot back into a 3/4 again. And it really gives a different sense of character to the different sections. It feels like we're traveling from one place to the next and then traveling back again. So that's time signatures. Let me know in the comments if you have a favorite time signature, and see you next time.